Food design is nothing but advertising. What's this pain in the middle of my chest? Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Francesca Zampollo. As you know, I talk about food design, and today we cannot ignore the article that just came out in Dezeen magazine, dezeen.com, titled "Food Design is Nothing But Advertising." The first time I've read this article, I was livid with anger. The second time I've read this article, I actually ended up kind of agreeing with what is written, but only partially. So let's go through this article and let's discuss it together. The article is titled "Food Design is Nothing But Advertising." It is written by Lucas Verweij. I'm sorry, I'm not pronouncing this correctly. He has been teaching design for 20 years and he is currently teaching at the Design Academy in Eindhoven. It is not surprising that designers are experimenting with food, but their impact so far has been little more than table dressing, argues Lucas Verweij. Right, so let's go through a little bit of this article before we start discussing its content and maybe give our opinion. When a subject has that degree of relevance to our lives, he was talking about how important the topic of food is, designers will poke their nose into it. But it also makes sense from an economic perspective. When something has the potential to change, there is money to be made. Absolutely true. As a result, a whole army of food designers has emerged, with many more graduating each year from universities and design schools, not least the bachelor's degree course at Design Academy Eindhoven, headed by the Queen of Food Design, Marija Vogelsang. They teach at the same university, she teaches food design, yet he is criticizing a little bit food design from this article, and I would interpret this article as a bit of a critique to those who teach food design as well. So is he really criticizing, as I said, the queen of food design, because she really is, she's the number one food designer nowadays. She's one of the untouchables. So is he criticizing her? And then he says food designers like Bompas and Par and Honey and Bunny are omnipresent, just as exhibitions about food design are everywhere. I am not sure that I would consider Bompas and Par and Honey and Bunny as the icon of food design or as the most emblematic companies that showcase everything that food design can do. Honey and Bunny, even though they perfectly understand the full spectrum of food design, and this you can see it from their books if you read their books, they are mainly food design performers or food performers, and they know that, and I don't think they claim differently. Bompas and Par have been called food designers, and they, again, I think they only represent a very tiny piece of what food design is and what food design can do. And then he says, what have food designers achieved in this sector? Not a whole lot, I believe. And this is beautiful. I mean, let's just continue reading. An industry already exists for the actual design of food, whether it's a manufacturer like Unilever making Anox soup less salty, or a chef developing ingredients, recipes and techniques. Okay, I could interpret this sentence as a manufacturer like Unilever and what chefs do, representing everything that food design is. For those of you who don't know, I didn't know, the Anox soup is this thing over here. Definitely something that I never bought in my life and I never will. And stuff like these, again, it's only a part of what food design can do. These things, Unilever, let's not take Unilever as an example of good food design, or as maybe food design in general. But then it goes along talking about chefs in particular, and this I think is interesting, reading his own words. Good chefs are creative. They have a plan. They listen to their customers and their instincts. They can handle assignments, make budget, and send invoices. They often make prototypes and tweak them again and again based on feedback. Good chefs are already good designers. Absolutely agree, 100%. They don't need our blessing. Maybe that's true also. We don't need to call them, they don't need to be called food designers by us to actually be food designers. If a designer wants to design food, I would recommend culinary school. And this is where I don't necessarily agree. Culinary schools don't teach design yet. There are only a few around the world that I know of that have started. But definitely I believe that if culinary schools started tomorrow to integrate a robust design program or design learnings into their teachings, then absolutely, if you want to become a food designer, you can definitely choose a culinary school. At the moment, culinary schools are focusing on food and forgetting a little bit about design, and so yeah. But definitely chefs are already designers, and they don't know about it, and they keep designing, most of them, and that's fine, I guess. Of course, some designers do cook. I am regularly served genuine designer food, meals made entirely from market waste or farm animals living within the city limits. So here he is mentioning the type of food design that he associates with eating design, I guess, and all your pop-ups, etc., and your catering. And this is definitely, again, one other portion of food design. It's not all of it. Where designers play the biggest role, I fear, is in the branding of food. Supported by food blogs and Instagram, they give people the feeling of authenticity, of love and care behind food preparation. Designers make the chalkboards on which to write menus because those make the fare seem more natural. They create stone and wood serving boards with organic uneven shapes. They design tasteful uniforms for the staff and invent upbeat names for their dishes. That's true, we do that. Can we call this food design? No. I kind of agree. These are all little things that food designers do as part, I hope, of a bigger picture, of a bigger food experience, but we definitely do these. Can we call these individual examples food design? No, I agree with that. Designers are popular in the food industry because they can create the appearance of small-scale authenticity and creativity, values we like to associate with food. They dress up, pack, and this is true, right? This is beautiful, and I wish all these food designers could do that. And if we do this, I think we are going the right way. But then you add, they dress up, pack, articulate, drape, embellish, and stylize qualities we normally attribute to advertising pros. Yes, there is a bit of that done in food design too. I don't think it's all of it, but there is a lot of that done also. So how can you blame him here? This is definitely some of what we do. We no longer expect solutions from designers, yet we often praise the awareness they create around food. It's true that awareness is the first step towards change in a complex system like the food industry. Absolutely agree. And it's valuable that someone is doing it. Thank you. But may I point out that generating awareness is a typical advertising task as well. Yes, you may point that out, and I think you're absolutely true. Then he finishes saying, I'll say it once more, food designers are admen in disguise. Right, so I think that, and as I said, I partially agree with what he's saying. He is making a picture of a part of food design that definitely exists. I can see how somebody coming from outside can search food design on Google and find things that would bring him to have this opinion. I can see that. I also think though that there is much more to it, and in a moment I'm going to show you. But what I want to say first is that the reason why I think that people like him and actually people in the design industry like him may have this opinion is that it's undeniable that we have seen in the past few years a drastic shift and interest of young food designers toward what I call critical food design and eating design, toward the type of food design that make people think. Now, I think that while critical food design can be very fascinating, it is definitely fascinating to see at food design exhibitions, and it is definitely fascinating to design. It is kind of limiting because this type of food design makes people think, and then that's it. That's not courage in it. That's not a lot of, often, not always, there's not a lot of, let's now do it now. In other words, you design something that is wonderful, you hopefully make it to an exhibition, and it's maybe a product or a service, whatever. It's a concept, it's a project, you end up in an exhibition, and then that's it. Rarely have I seen critical food design projects actually becoming businesses, products, or services. So in this sense, they are fun, and then that's it, right? So this is what I think has created this type of opinion on food design. And it's undeniable, because if you go out there and Google food design, you will find eating design examples, wonderful examples of eating design, and you will find critical design. As a way to back up this argument of mine, I want to show you something, and I think it's hilarious that the related story here in the article, the suggested reading, is actually an article from Mariah Vogelzang, and it's the article called "We Need Creative Ideas to Change the Food Systems." And you can watch the video that there is in this article. We are again at dezeen.com, where she's talking about this exhibition that she organized called Embassy of Food, and this was in 2017. Now, what is interesting is that if you watch the video and if you listen to Mariah's words, the concept behind putting together this exhibition was emphasizing issues on food systems and the importance of designing for the food systems. I couldn't agree more. We have talked about this a lot in my videos also, and you can see it more and more. You can see this awareness and this interest and this sensitivity spreading around in the media as well, slowly but surely. And it's also thanks to a project, events like this. But then if you look at the content of this exhibition, you will see examples, projects like the symbiotic autonomous machine, the pink chicken project, or the algae bar, etc. And again, these are all projects, and if you ask me, these can all be categorized as critical food design. The wonderful design that makes us think, the wonderful design that makes a brilliant food exhibition, and then that's it. So you see how these two articles kind of back each other up. The thing that I want to say to Mr. Lucas Verweij, sorry again, and to all of you watching this video, and maybe all of you who have read this article, is that food design is not just an advertisement, it's not just about advertising. Food design is not just about, let's call it critical design and eating design, which can bring you to think that all food design is advertising. Food design is a lot more, and I want to show you. First of all, you just have to go to fondazione.slowfood.com and look at the Slow Food Foundation for Biodiversity and look at all the slow food procedure. You can see that all of these 547 projects basically are food systems and food services that are put in place with, of course, the philosophy of slow food. Here you see a big collection of projects that are about social sustainability and environmental sustainability. And then we have examples like the coffee log made by biobean.com, and this is coffee waste from cafes that has been recycled into logs that can be burned. And then we have examples like Piñatex, which makes a leather-like fabric from the fibers of pineapple. And these fibers are a byproduct of the food production from pineapples. We have examples like Loop, and there's many restaurants like Loop. Loop is a restaurant in Helsinki that uses only food that would otherwise be wasted. They collect all these otherwise wasted food from markets and supermarkets, and they also employ people who are unemployed, young people, immigrants, and long-term unemployed people. We have examples like the ground fridge, which is a sort of a cellar that is designed to go underground, and it keeps the produce fresh just because of the temperature that there is underground. So there is no electricity as far as I know. Then we have apps like Rescue, which is an app that allows you to buy at a very discounted price the sandwiches or dishes from restaurants that are about to close, and it's the food that wasn't sold, so they put it on the app and then you can go there and buy it at a very discounted price so it doesn't go to waste. Similarly, there are websites and services like Food Cloud, which instead of connecting restaurants to customers, they connect supermarkets to local charities so that their food that would be otherwise wasted from the supermarket can go to local charities. We can also talk about Waikati, which is the first standalone solution for the preservation of fruit and vegetables without using cooling. So this is a type of tent that uses solar power to power a sort of humidifier that is inside the tent and that keeps the produce fresh. We can also talk about Good Spread, which is a peanut butter that uses part of their profit to create Mama. They look at the problem of severe acute malnutrition, which is the leading cause of death for nearly 2.6 million children under 5. This product that they use is a fortified peanut butter based medicine that is used to treat malnourished children. Now, as you can see, people, and as you can see, Mr. Lucas Verweij, food design is not just the type of food design that you can rightfully interpret as just advertising. Food design is a lot more. Food design is products and services and sometimes systems that actually really do help the planet and society. And this is the type of food design that we should all strive to. And this is the type of food design that we should teach our students. Now, the thing that we have to think about a lot, and I realized just making this video, is that all of the examples that I have shown you were not advertised as examples of food design. All of the examples that I've showed you, even though they can absolutely be categorized as food design products or services or systems, they were not made by people who define themselves as food designers. So this makes us think a little bit. Who are food designers? Are food designers only really interested in critical food design and eating design? And where are the food designers who call themselves food designers and design stuff that is not critical food design or eating design? Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day and happy food design.